Hasan Piker just got banned from Twitch again, his sixth suspension. And this time, he crossed a line that even his biggest supporters are struggling to justify. The popular streamer decided to broadcast a shooter's written statement to his millions of followers just days after two innocent people were killed. This isn't journalism, it's reckless content creation that puts engagement over responsibility. On May 21st, Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram were killed outside a Jewish museum in Washington, D.C. They were a young couple planning to get married. The shooter, Elias Rodriguez, killed them while shouting, "Free Palestine." It was an act of hatred that devastated families and shocked our nation. Just 4 days later, while these families were still planning funerals, Hasan Piker decided to read the shooter's written statement on stream. Not in a private setting, not with law enforcement, but broadcast to hundreds of thousands of viewers, many of them young and impressionable. He claimed he was providing critical analysis, but let's be real. This is a guy who streams video games and political hot takes, not a trained journalist or security expert. Twitch's response was swift and appropriate. They suspended him for improper handling of dangerous content, because that's exactly what it was. Their policy is crystal clear. You cannot share these types of documents on the platform, period. It doesn't matter if you claim you're being critical. These writings are designed to inspire violence and spread harmful ideology. Broadcasting them, even with commentary, risks amplifying their message. This isn't Hasan's first issue with platform violations. In March, he was banned for making violent statements about Rick Scott regarding Medicare fraud. Before that, he spent a week off the platform for using inappropriate language. He's repeatedly shown that he either can't or won't follow basic content guidelines. But here's what's really concerning. Hasan has built his brand on inflammatory rhetoric that consistently pushes boundaries. He's made light of serious incidents in Israel. He's questioned documented events. He's called for harmful actions against elected officials. This isn't political commentary. It's harmful content wrapped in a progressive package. The Anti-Defamation League and Congressman Richie Torres have been raising concerns about Hasan for months. They're not overreacting. When someone with 2.8 million followers regularly engages in this kind of rhetoric, it has real-world consequences. The fact that the D.C. shooter's writings praised certain political positions that align with Hasan's worldview should give everyone pause. Look at his recent detention at O'Hare Airport. Yes, customs agents questioned him about his political views. You know what? When you spend years making inflammatory statements about violence, when you joke about harming senators, when you minimize serious incidents, maybe law enforcement has legitimate reasons to ask questions. This isn't about silencing dissent, it's about public safety. Hasan and his supporters want you to believe this is about press freedom, but Hasan isn't press. He's an entertainer who found fame through provocative takes and controversial statements. Real journalists don't tell their audience to harm politicians. Real journalists don't laugh at victims of violence. Real journalists understand the weight of their words and the responsibility that comes with a platform. The truth is, reading a shooter's writings to an audience primarily of young people isn't brave journalism. It's irresponsible content creation. These documents are literally designed to radicalize and inspire copycat incidents. By sharing them, even critically, you risk spreading dangerous ideas. There's a reason major news outlets don't publish these writings in full. And let's talk about his pattern of behavior. 6 bans. 6! At what point do we stop making excuses? At what point do we acknowledge that someone who repeatedly violates platform rules, who consistently pushes harmful rhetoric, who makes light of serious incidents, maybe that person shouldn't have access to millions of impressionable viewers? His defenders claim he's being targeted for his political views. No, he's facing consequences for his actions. There's a massive difference between criticizing government policies and doing what Hasan does. Plenty of streamers critique Israel's policies without getting banned. Plenty of content creators discuss Palestine without reading harmful documents. The difference is they do it responsibly. What happened to those 2 embassy workers was a tragedy. They were targeted and killed because of where they worked. Their families are destroyed, their communities are grieving. And less than a week later, Hasan thought it was appropriate to amplify their attacker's message to millions of people. That's not analysis, that's exploitation. Twitch made the right call. Their policies exist for a reason, to prevent the spread of harmful content and protect their users. When someone repeatedly violates those policies, when someone shows such poor judgment, when someone puts engagement over ethics, they should face consequences. The real question isn't whether Hasan should have been banned, it's why Twitch keeps letting him back on. How many violations does it take? How much harmful content needs to be spread? How many young people need to be exposed to dangerous rhetoric wrapped in entertainment? This isn't about free speech. It's about responsibility. It's about understanding that words have power, especially when broadcast to millions of people. It's about recognizing that some content is too dangerous to platform, regardless of your intent. Hasan Piker isn't a victim here. He's someone who has repeatedly violated platform guidelines, spread inflammatory content, and now amplified dangerous writings. The fact that he sees nothing wrong with this, that he thinks he's the victim, that tells you everything. Platforms have a responsibility to their users, especially their younger users. They have an obligation to prevent the spread of harmful content, and sometimes that means telling someone who refuses to follow the rules that they're no longer welcome. What do you think? Should platforms have stricter enforcement for creators who repeatedly violate guidelines? How many chances should someone get? Let me know below. This conversation matters. The content we allow on these platforms shapes our culture and influences millions of young minds. We need to demand better from our platforms and from our content creators. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and hold people accountable.